Bermuda Triangle, lost ships and vanished planes. In the vast expanse of the western North Atlantic Ocean, there exists a region that has captivated the human imagination for centuries. A place where ships vanish without a trace, planes disappear mid-flight, and the line between fact and fiction blurs into a tapestry of mystery. Known as the Bermuda Triangle, or sometimes the Devil's Triangle, this loosely defined area is bounded by three vertices: Miami, Florida, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the mid-Atlantic island of Bermuda, spanning an area that varies from 1.3 million to 3.9 million square kilometers, 500,000 to 1.51 million square miles. The Bermuda Triangle is not recognized by any official geographic or maritime authority, yet its name has become synonymous with unexplained disappearances and paranormal intrigue. For decades, this region has sparked endless debate among scientists, historians, conspiracy theorists, and the general public. Some dismiss it as a product of media sensationalism and statistical coincidence, while others argue that there is something truly anomalous about the waters and skies above this part of the Atlantic. From the disappearance of the USS Cyclops in 1918 to the vanishing of Flight 19 in 1945, the Bermuda Triangle has been linked to dozens of high-profile incidents involving ships, aircraft, and the people aboard them. This exploration will delve into the history of the Bermuda Triangle, examine its most famous and puzzling disappearances, explore the scientific theories that seek to explain these events, dissect the conspiracy theories that have flourished around it, and trace its cultural impact on literature, film, and popular culture. By the end, we will have a deeper understanding of why this region continues to fascinate and mystify, and whether the Bermuda Triangle is truly a place of supernatural danger, or simply a victim of hype and human curiosity. To begin our journey into the Bermuda Triangle, we must first define its boundaries and understand the geographic and environmental characteristics that make this region unique. Unlike official geographic regions, the Bermuda Triangle has no universally agreed upon borders. The term was first coined in 1964 by writer Vincent Gaddis in an article for Argosy magazine, where he defined the triangle with vertices at Miami, San Juan, and Bermuda. Since then, different authors and researchers have expanded or contracted the boundaries, with some extending it as far north as the coast of Ireland, or as far south as the Caribbean islands. Geographically, the Bermuda Triangle lies within a busy maritime and air corridor, with thousands of ships and aircraft passing through it safely every day, contradicting the popular image of it as a death trap. The region is characterized by several unique environmental features that may contribute to the incidents associated with it. Deep water trenches reaching up to 8,000 meters, frequent and intense thunderstorms, local magnetic variations that can disrupt compass readings, and the powerful Gulf Stream current that can carry debris long distances and change water temperatures rapidly. These natural features combined with human error, equipment failure, and the vast, unforgiving nature of the ocean, have likely played a role in many of the disappearances attributed to the Bermuda Triangle. However, it is the combination of these natural factors, with the lack of conclusive evidence in many cases, that has allowed the mystery to persist. The history of the Bermuda Triangle's mystique dates back to the earliest days of European exploration of the Americas. The first documented reports of unusual phenomena in the region come from Christopher Columbus, who sailed through the area in 1492 during his voyage to the New World. In his logs, Columbus described a flaming sea, likely bioluminescent plankton, and unusual compass behavior, noting that his compass did not point true north, a phenomenon now known as magnetic variation, which is common in the region. Columbus also reported seeing strange lights in the sky, which he interpreted as signs from God, but which modern researchers suggest could have been anything from meteorites to distant ship lights. These early accounts, while not involving disappearances, planted the seeds of mystery around the region. Over the centuries, as shipping and air travel became more common, more incidents were reported, and the legend of the Bermuda Triangle began to take shape. It was not until the mid-20th century, however, that the region gained widespread attention, thanks to a series of high-profile disappearances and the rise of media coverage that sensationalized these events. The earliest suggestion of unusual disappearances in the Bermuda area appeared in an article written by Edward Van Winkle Jones of the Miami Herald that was distributed by the Associated Press and appeared in various American newspapers on September 17, 1950. 2 years later, Fate magazine published Sea Mystery at Our Back Door, a short article by George X. Sand that was the first to lay out the now familiar triangular area where the losses took place. Sand recounted the loss of several planes and ships since World War II, including the disappearance of Sandra, a tramp steamer, the December 1945 loss of Flight 19, the January 1948 disappearance of Star Tiger, a British South American Airways (BSAA) passenger airplane, the March 1948 disappearance of a fishing skiff with 3 men, including jockey Albert Snyder, December 1948 disappearance of an airborne transport DC-3 charter, flight en route from Puerto Rico to Miami, and the January 1949 disappearance of Star Ariel, another BSAA passenger airplane. Flight 19 was covered again in the April 1962 issue of the American Legion magazine, where author Alan W. Eckert wrote that the flight leader had been heard saying, "We cannot be sure of any direction. Everything is wrong. Strange. Ocean doesn't look as it should." In February 1964, Vincent Gaddis wrote an article called "The Deadly Bermuda Triangle" in Argosy, saying Flight 19 and other disappearances were part of a pattern of strange events in the region, dating back to at least 1840. The next year, Gaddis expanded this article into a book, Invisible Horizons. Other writers elaborated on Gaddis' ideas, including John Wallace Spencer, Limbo of the Lost, 1969, Repper, 1973, Charles Berlitz's The Bermuda Triangle, 1974, and Richard Weiner, The Devil's Triangle, 1974, with various of these authors incorporating supernatural elements into their accounts. Before diving into the specific incidents, it is important to address a critical point. The Bermuda Triangle is not recognized as a hazardous region by any official authority. The United States Coast Guard, USCG, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and other maritime and aviation organizations have conducted extensive investigations into the incidents associated with the triangle and have found no evidence of unusual or supernatural phenomena. According to NOAA, the number of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is no higher than in any other similarly sized and busy region of the ocean. The USCG has stated that the Bermuda Triangle does not exist in terms of any unique hazard, and that most incidents can be explained by natural causes, human error, or a combination of both. Despite this, the legend persists, fueled by media coverage, books, and films that focus on the most mysterious cases and ignore the countless ships and planes that pass through the region safely every day. This disconnect between official findings and popular perception is a key part of the Bermuda Triangle's enduring appeal. The Bermuda Triangle is an unofficial name for a region in the Atlantic Ocean, bounded by a triangle with vertices at Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Despite hundreds of thousands of mentions in media and literature, official bodies such as NOAA do not recognize any anomalies in this region. Its boundaries are not officially defined and vary between different sources, with the total area ranging from 1.3 to 3.9 million square kilometers, and in some cases expanding the boundary of the triangle as far as the coast of Ireland. Consequently, the determination of which accidents occurred inside the triangle depends on which writer reported them. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle is built on a series of high-profile disappearances that have never been fully explained. These incidents, spanning from the 19th century to the present day, involve ships and aircraft that vanished without sending a distress signal, leaving no trace of wreckage or human remains. While some of these cases have been partially explained by subsequent investigations, others remain shrouded in mystery, fueling speculation about what might have happened. One of the earliest and most significant disappearances associated with the Bermuda Triangle is that of the USS Cyclops, a United States Navy collier ship that vanished in March 1918 with 306 crew members and passengers aboard, making it the largest loss of life in U.S. naval history, not involving combat. The Cyclops was a massive ship, measuring 165 meters, 540 feet in length, and capable of carrying over 12,000 tons of cargo. At the time of its disappearance, it was en route from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to Baltimore, Maryland, carrying a cargo of manganese ore, a heavy metal that made the ship unusually dense and potentially unstable. The last known communication from the Cyclops was on March 4, 1918, when it sent a message from Barbados stating that it was well and proceeding to Baltimore. After that, the ship vanished without a trace. No distress signal was sent, and no wreckage, debris, or bodies were ever found, despite an extensive search covering thousands of square miles of ocean. The disappearance of the USS Cyclops was particularly puzzling for several reasons. First, the ship was considered seaworthy, with an experienced captain and crew. Second, the weather in the region at the time was reported to be calm, with no major storms or hurricanes that could have sunk the ship. Third, the Cyclops was equipped with radio communication, yet it did not send any distress signals, suggesting that whatever happened to it occurred suddenly and without warning. In the years following the disappearance, several theories were proposed to explain what happened. One early theory was that the ship had been sunk by a German U-boat, as World War I was still ongoing at the time. However, Germany denied any involvement, and no evidence of a torpedo attack, such as oil slicks or debris from an explosion, was ever found. Another theory was that the ship had capsized due to instability caused by its heavy cargo of manganese ore. Manganese ore is dense and can shift during rough seas, potentially causing a ship to tip over. While the weather was calm when the Cyclops vanished, it is possible that the ship encountered a sudden squall or rogue wave that caused the cargo to shift, leading to a rapid capsizing. However, there is no direct evidence to support this theory. More recently, researchers have suggested that the Cyclops may have fallen victim to the region's magnetic anomalies. As Columbus noted centuries earlier, the Bermuda Triangle is an area where compass readings can be inaccurate, as the magnetic North Pole does not align with the geographic North Pole. If the Cyclops compass was giving incorrect readings, the captain may have steered the ship off course, leading it into dangerous waters or away from help. Additionally, the Gulf Stream current in the region is powerful, capable of carrying a ship's wreckage hundreds of miles away from the site of the incident, which could explain why no debris was ever found. Despite these theories, the disappearance of the USS Cyclops remains one of the most mysterious in naval history, and it continues to be cited as one of the key incidents that helped establish the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. Adding to the mystery of the Cyclops is the fact that two of its sister ships, the USS Proteus and the USS Nereus, also vanished in the same general region in the 1940s. The Proteus disappeared in November 1941, while en route from the West Indies to Norfolk, Virginia, with 58 crew members aboard. The Nereus vanished in December 1941, just a month later, while en route from Trinidad to Norfolk, with 61 crew members aboard. Like the Cyclops, both ships were colliers carrying heavy cargo, and neither sent a distress signal nor left any trace of wreckage. While some have attributed these disappearances to the same factors that likely caused the Cyclops to vanish. Others have pointed to the fact that all three ships were part of the same class, suggesting a potential design flaw. However, no such flaw was ever identified, and the coincidence of three sister ships vanishing in the same region only added to the mystique of the Bermuda Triangle. If the USS Cyclops laid the groundwork for the Bermuda Triangle legend, the disappearance of Flight 19 in December 1945 solidified its place in popular culture. Flight 19 was a group of 5 U.S. Navy Grumman TBM Avenger torpedo bombers that vanished during a training mission over the Atlantic Ocean, along with all 14 crew members aboard. A rescue plane sent to search for them also disappeared, adding another 13 lives to the tragedy. The incident was widely covered in the media, and it became the cornerstone of the modern Bermuda Triangle myth, thanks in large part to the mysterious circumstances surrounding the flight and the lack of any conclusive evidence about what happened. The story of Flight 19 began on December 5, 1945. A clear, calm day with good visibility, ideal conditions for a training mission. The 5 bombers took off from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale in Florida at 2:10 p.m., led by Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, an experienced pilot with over 2,500 hours of flight time. The mission was supposed to be a routine navigation exercise. The planes would fly east for 120 kilometers, 75 miles, to a target area known as Hens and Chickens Shoals, drop practice bombs, then turn north for 73 kilometers, 45 miles, then west back to the base. The total flight time was expected to be around 2 hours. Shortly after the planes reached their target area, things began to go wrong. At 3:45 p.m., Lieutenant Taylor radioed the base, reporting that his compass was malfunctioning and that he was disoriented. "We don't know where we are," he said. "We must have flown off course." The base radio operator instructed Taylor to fly west, towards the Florida coast, but Taylor responded that he was not sure which direction west was. The radio transmissions from Flight 19 became increasingly frantic as the pilots struggled to regain their bearings. One pilot was heard saying, "Everything looks strange, even the ocean." Another reported that the horizon was unclear, making it impossible to distinguish between the sky and the sea, a phenomenon known as whiteout or sea haze that can disorient pilots. As the afternoon turned to evening, the plane's fuel began to run low, and the radio transmissions became weaker. The last known message from Flight 19 was at 4:09 p.m. when Taylor radioed, "We are running out of fuel. We are going to ditch." After that, all contact was lost. A Martin PBM Mariner seaplane was dispatched to search for Flight 19. The Mariner, carrying 13 crew members, took off at 7:27 p.m., but it also vanished without a trace. No distress signal was sent, and no wreckage was ever found. The official Navy investigation into the incident concluded that Flight 19 had disappeared due to causes or reasons unknown, a vague ruling that only added to the mystery. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed to explain the disappearance of Flight 19. One of the most plausible is that Lieutenant Taylor became disoriented due to compass malfunction and flew the planes east instead of west, leading them out into the open Atlantic Ocean, where they ran out of fuel and crashed into the sea. The whiteout phenomenon could have made it impossible for the pilots to realize their mistake, as they would have been unable to tell the difference between the sky and the water. The Gulf Stream current would have carried any wreckage far from the crash site, making it difficult to find. Another theory is that the planes encountered a sudden and intense thunderstorm, which disrupted their navigation equipment and caused them to crash. While the weather was calm when the planes took off, thunderstorms can form quickly in the Bermuda Triangle, especially in the afternoon. The Mariner rescue plane may have also been caught in the same storm, leading to its disappearance. However, there was no report of thunderstorms in the region that day, making this theory less likely. Conspiracy theorists have proposed more outlandish explanations, including alien abduction, time travel, and attacks by sea monsters. But these theories have no scientific basis and are widely dismissed by mainstream researchers. Another famous disappearance associated with the Bermuda Triangle is that of the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, a T-2 tanker that vanished in February 1963 with 39 crew members aboard. The Marine Sulphur Queen was en route from Beaumont, Texas, to Norfolk, Virginia, carrying a cargo of molten sulfur. The last known communication from the ship was on February 3, 1963, when it sent a routine position report placing it about 150 kilometers, 90 miles, southeast of Key West, Florida. After that, the ship vanished without a trace. No distress signal was sent, and no wreckage was ever found, despite an extensive search covering over 300,000 square kilometers, 116,000 square miles of ocean. The disappearance of the Marine Sulphur Queen was particularly puzzling because the ship was relatively new built in 1944 and had undergone a recent inspection that declared it seaworthy. The cargo of molten sulfur was stable, and there was no indication of a leak or explosion. Some researchers have suggested that the ship may have suffered a structural failure, as T-2 tankers were known to have design flaws that made them prone to breaking apart in rough seas. However, the weather in the region at the time was calm, making this theory less likely. Others have proposed that the ship was sunk by a rogue wave, a massive wave that can reach heights of up to 30 meters, 100 feet, and can sink even large ships without warning. Rogue waves are rare, but have been documented in the Atlantic Ocean, and they could explain the sudden disappearance of the Marine Sulphur Queen. However, there is no direct evidence to support this theory, and the mystery remains unsolved. In addition to ships and military aircraft, several commercial airliners have also vanished in the Bermuda Triangle. One of the most famous of these is Pan Am Flight 7, which disappeared on November 8, 1957, en route from San Francisco, California, to Honolulu, Hawaii. The flight, a Boeing 377 Stratocruiser, was carrying 36 passengers and 8 crew members. The last known communication from the flight was at 10:30 p.m., when the pilot reported that the plane was at an altitude of 25,000 feet and flying normally. After that, all contact was lost. A search was launched, but no wreckage, debris, or bodies were ever found. The official investigation concluded that the plane had likely crashed into the ocean due to an unknown mechanical failure, but no evidence was found to support this. Conspiracy theorists have suggested that the plane was abducted by aliens or swallowed by a sea monster. But these theories are not taken seriously by mainstream researchers. Another commercial airliner that vanished in the Bermuda Triangle was Eastern Airlines Flight 401, which crashed into the Everglades in Florida in December 1972, killing 101 of the 176 people aboard. While the crash site was found, the circumstances surrounding the accident have led some to link it to the Bermuda Triangle. The plane was en route from New York to Miami when the crew became distracted by a faulty landing gear indicator light, causing them to lose control of the plane and crash into the swamp. While the crash was clearly due to human error, some have claimed that the crew was disoriented by magnetic anomalies in the region, though there is no evidence to support this claim. One of the most recent high-profile disappearances associated with the Bermuda Triangle is that of the cargo ship El Faro, which vanished in October 2015 during Hurricane Joaquin. The El Faro, a roll-on roll-off cargo ship, was en route from Jacksonville, Florida, to San Juan, Puerto Rico, carrying 33 crew members and a cargo of vehicles and containers. The last known communication from the ship was on October 1, 2015, when the captain reported that the ship was caught in the eye of Hurricane Joaquin, with winds of 145 kilometers per hour, 90 miles per hour, and waves of up to 10 meters, 33 feet. The captain also reported that the ship had lost power and was taking on water. After that, all contact was lost. A search was launched, and debris from the ship was found several days later, including life rafts, life jackets, and pieces of the ship's hull. The wreckage of the El Faro was found in 2016, lying on the ocean floor at a depth of 4,900 meters, 16,000 feet. The investigation into the accident concluded that the captain had made a series of poor decisions, including not altering the ship's course to avoid the hurricane, which led to the ship sinking, while the El Faro's disappearance was clearly due to natural causes and human error. It was still linked to the Bermuda Triangle in popular media, further fueling the legend. To understand the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, it is important to examine the natural and environmental factors that characterize the region. The Bermuda Triangle is located in an area where several powerful ocean currents converge, including the Gulf Stream, the Florida Current, and the North Atlantic Current. The Gulf Stream is particularly powerful, with a speed of up to 2.5 meters per second, 5.6 miles per hour, which is faster than most ships can sail. This current can carry debris from a shipwreck or plane, crash hundreds of miles away from the site of the incident, making it difficult to find. Additionally, the region is prone to sudden and intense weather changes, including thunderstorms, hurricanes, and waterspouts. These weather events can form quickly and without warning, catching ships and planes off guard. Thunderstorms in the Bermuda Triangle are often accompanied by strong winds, heavy rain, and lightning, which can disrupt navigation equipment and communication systems. Hurricanes, which are common in the region during the summer and fall, can generate massive waves and storm surges that can sink even large ships. Waterspouts, which are tornadoes that form over water, can also be dangerous, as they can capsize small boats and damage aircraft. Another natural factor that may contribute to disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is magnetic variation. The Earth's magnetic field is not uniform, and in some regions, the magnetic North Pole, which compasses point to, does not align with the geographic North Pole, the true north. This phenomenon, known as magnetic variation, is common in the Bermuda Triangle, where the variation can be as much as 20 degrees. For inexperienced navigators, this can be confusing, as a compass reading may be off by a significant amount, leading them to steer the wrong course. In the days before GPS and other modern navigation systems, ships and planes relied heavily on compasses for navigation. So a compass malfunction could easily lead to disorientation and getting lost at sea. Additionally, the Bermuda Triangle is home to several areas of magnetic anomaly, where the magnetic field is stronger or weaker than normal. These anomalies can disrupt not only compasses, but also other electronic equipment, such as radios and radar, making it difficult for ships and planes to communicate or navigate. The Bermuda, RINGL, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter 12, Chinese letter, 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 Chinese. The underwater topography of the Bermuda Triangle is also a contributing factor to the mystery. The region is home to some of the deepest trenches in the Atlantic Ocean, including the Puerto Rico Trench, which reaches a depth of 8,648 meters, 28,374 feet, the deepest point in the Atlantic. These deep trenches can make it difficult to find wreckage, as it can sink to the ocean floor and be covered by sediment. Additionally, the ocean floor in the Bermuda Triangle is dotted with coral reefs, shoals, and underwater mountains, which can damage ships that sail too close. The northern side of Bermuda itself is rife with reefs and shoals, making it a dangerous area for ships. The number of wrecks north of the island is an order of magnitude greater than those on the south side, giving it an unsavory reputation among sailors and captains. The Bermuda, R-I-N-G-L, Chinese letter, 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 Chinese letter. Another scientific theory that has been proposed to explain disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is the presence of methane hydrates on the ocean floor. Methane hydrates are a form of natural gas that is trapped in ice crystals beneath the seabed. When these hydrates break down, they release large amounts of methane gas, which can rise to the surface of the ocean. If a ship is above a large release of methane gas, the water density can decrease dramatically, causing the ship to lose buoyancy and sink rapidly. Additionally, methane gas can cause explosions if it comes into contact with a spark, which could explain why some ships have vanished without a trace. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Oslo found that the Bermuda Triangle is home to large deposits of methane hydrates, and that the release of this gas could be responsible for some of the disappearances. However, while this theory is plausible, there is no direct evidence linking methane hydrate releases to specific incidents in the Bermuda Triangle. This letter, Chinese 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 letter, chai. Hexagonal clouds are another natural phenomenon that has been linked to disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. These rare clouds, which are shaped like hexagons, can create powerful microbursts and air pockets that are dangerous to aircraft. Microbursts are sudden, downward bursts of air that can cause a plane to lose altitude rapidly, leading to a crash. Air pockets, which are areas of low air pressure, can also cause planes to drop suddenly, making it difficult for pilots to regain control. A study conducted by NOAA using satellite imagery found that hexagonal clouds are present in the Bermuda Triangle, and that they can generate winds of up to 170 kilometers per hour, 105 miles per hour. These winds can be strong enough to sink ships and crash planes, and they can form quickly and without warning. This theory provides a plausible explanation for some of the sudden disappearances in the region, especially those involving aircraft. Rogue waves are another natural phenomenon that could explain some of the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. Rogue waves are massive waves that are much larger than the surrounding waves. often reaching heights of up to 30 meters, 100 feet. These waves are rare, but can occur in any ocean, and they are particularly common in areas where strong currents and storm systems converge, such as the Bermuda Triangle. Rogue waves can sink even large ships, as they can overwhelm the ship's hull and cause it to capsize. Additionally, rogue waves can wash over the deck of a ship, sweeping crew members overboard and damaging equipment. There have been several documented cases of rogue waves sinking ships in the Atlantic Ocean, and it is likely that they have played a role in some of the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. Letter, Chinese 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 letter, Chai. In addition to natural factors, human error has also played a significant role in many of the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. Navigational mistakes, especially in the days before GPS, were common, and even a small error in course can lead a ship or plane off track in the vast ocean. For example, if a ship's compass is off by just a few degrees, it can end up hundreds of miles away from its intended destination after a few days of sailing. Inexperienced pilots or captains may also make poor decisions, such as sailing into a storm or flying into an area of bad weather. Equipment failure is another common cause of disappearances. Ships and planes rely on a variety of equipment to navigate and communicate, and a single malfunction can be catastrophic. For example, a broken radio can prevent a ship from sending a distress signal, while a faulty engine can cause a plane to crash. Additionally, many of the ships and planes that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle were old or poorly maintained, making them more prone to equipment failure. Before GPS, latitude was always much easier to find at sea than longitude, which required an accurate clock. So ships tended to aim for the right latitude, then sail east or west as needed. Even this was easier said than done when it came to finding oceanic islands like Bermuda, making it easy to get lost on the way to the island, despite the scientific explanations for the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. Conspiracy theories have flourished around the region, fueled by the lack of conclusive evidence in many cases. One of the most popular conspiracy theories is that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal for extraterrestrial activity, and that ships and planes are being abducted by aliens. This theory was popularized in the 1960s by author Erich von Däniken, who claimed that the Bermuda Triangle was a landing site for alien spacecraft. Proponents of this theory point to the fact that no wreckage is found in many cases, suggesting that the ships and planes were taken rather than crashed. However, there is no scientific evidence to support this theory, and it is widely dismissed by mainstream researchers. The alien abduction theory suggests that extraterrestrial activity is responsible for the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, with some believing that aliens are using the area as a portal to travel to Earth and are taking humans for experimentation. Another popular conspiracy theory is that the Bermuda Triangle is home to the lost city of Atlantis. According to this theory, the ruins of Atlantis are located beneath the ocean floor in the Bermuda Triangle, and the city's advanced technology is causing the disappearances. Proponents of this theory claim that Atlantis was a highly advanced civilization with technology that is far beyond our own, and that this technology is disrupting the navigation equipment of ships and planes, causing them to crash or vanish. Some even claim that the Atlanteans are still alive and are deliberately sinking ships and planes to protect their city. However, there is no archaeological evidence to support the existence of Atlantis, and the theory is considered pseudoscience by most researchers. Some believe that the Bermuda Triangle is the location of the lost city of Atlantis, suggesting that the city was destroyed by a natural disaster and is now hidden beneath the ocean floor, which could explain the strange occurrences in the area. A third conspiracy theory is that the Bermuda Triangle is the site of a government cover-up. Proponents of this theory claim that the U.S. government is hiding something in the region, such as a secret military base, experimental weapons, or evidence of extraterrestrial activity. They argue that the government is deliberately covering up the true cause of the disappearances to prevent public panic. Some even claim that the government is using the Bermuda Triangle as a testing ground for new weapons, and that these weapons are responsible for sinking ships and crashing planes. However, there is no evidence to support this theory, and the U.S. government has repeatedly denied any involvement in the disappearances. The government cover-up theory suggests that the U.S. government is hiding something about the Bermuda Triangle, with some believing that they are concealing secret experiments or other sensitive information. Other conspiracy theories include the idea that the Bermuda Triangle is a time portal where ships and planes are transported to different time periods, and the idea that the region is inhabited by sea monsters or other supernatural creatures that attack and sink ships. There's also the electronic fog theory, which suggests that a strange fog in the Bermuda Triangle can cause electronic equipment to malfunction, and that this fog is a portal to another dimension, with those who enter it never seen again. The time warp theory suggests that the Bermuda Triangle is home to a time portal, with some believing that ships and planes are transported to different time periods, causing them to disappear and explaining the lack of wreckage found in the area. The piracy theory suggests that the Bermuda Triangle is a hot spot for pirate activity, with some believing that pirates are responsible for the disappearances in the area, using the region as a hiding spot for their loot. While some of these theories are more plausible than others, the exact causes of the Bermuda Triangle phenomena remain the subject of debate, with no conclusive evidence to support any of the conspiracy theories. One of the most compelling personal accounts of unusual activity in the Bermuda Triangle comes from pilot Bruce Gunnan, who shared HIS Chinese letter experience while flying with his father from Andros, the main island of the Bahamas, to Miami, USA. The flight was supposed to take 1.5 hours, but shortly after takeoff, Gunnan noticed something unusual. Approximately 3.2 kilometers ahead of them, there was an elliptical cloud that, unlike other clouds drifting with the wind, seemed to stay in place. The cloud was quite large, about 2.4 kilometers long, 300 meters thick, and 460 meters high, with a distinct outline and smooth edges, different from the randomly shaped clouds in the sky. As they got closer, the cloud looked thicker and more opaque. Gunnan said it was not an ordinary cloud. It looked more solid, almost as if it were made of something heavier than water vapor. This made Gunnan decide to change direction, a choice his father agreed with. Shortly after, as the plane ascended, the cloud below began to expand rapidly, seemingly actively chasing the plane, trying to overtake it. Suddenly, the cloud engulfed the plane, and due to the updraft, the plane shook slightly, and visibility dropped to less than 30 meters. This lasted only half a minute before the plane broke through the cloud. But the situation was not resolved, as the persistent cloud continued to accompany the plane as it ascended. Despite the plane's efforts to speed up its ascent, the cloud seemed to anticipate the plane's every move and followed closely. Soon, the plane was submerged in the thick cloud again. At the same time, another strong updraft pushed the plane upward forcefully, and this sudden lift briefly took them above the cloud. Gunnan and his father thought they had escaped, but the cloud was still closing in, and a storm began to form within it. They saw lightning flashing inside, casting surging shadows in the cloud. With no way out, Gunnan and his father decided to head straight into the storm, with only hope and a flimsy plan. In the field of aviation, safety is usually the top priority, but that day, pilot Gunnan and his father chose to fly directly into the seemingly harmless cloud. This choice, originally made out of the need to reach their destination, soon turned into a moment of uncertainty. From the outside, the cloud was soft and white, but inside it was pitch black, as if night had suddenly fallen. Continuous bright flashes broke this darkness. These flashes did not look like typical lightning, but were equally threatening. Finally, the storm ended, and after the plane passed through this dangerous cloud, they entered a tunnel made of clouds. They thought that on the other side of this tunnel would be clear blue sky, and inside the tunnel, they experienced a moment of weightlessness, like floating on water, a feeling Gunnan had never experienced in his flying career. Although this strange feeling did not last long, it was unforgettable. When they flew out of the tunnel, Gunnan tried to use the flight instruments to determine their position, but the flight instruments malfunctioned and provided no useful information. The compass that was supposed to guide them was spinning in reverse. Although they had escaped the cloud, the sky ahead of the plane was not clear, but a dull, gray grayish-white fog. This was not ordinary fog. It was thicker and darker. Gunnan immediately called Miami Air Traffic Control for help and activated the plane's transponder, a 1970s technology designed to help controllers track the plane and help them find their way. Disappointingly, ground control could not find their position on the radar at all, and they had to fly blindly. They did not know how long this went on, but in their despair, the father and son suddenly heard the radio crackle. The voice of the Miami air traffic control operator came clearly, saying he could see them, or more precisely, a plane flying west directly over Miami Beach. Gunnan looked at his watch in confusion and realized that they had reached Miami in only 34 minutes, when the normal time should have been 1.5 hours. Gunnan confirmed with the control operator via radio whether the plane they had found was indeed his. Thinking that they had seemingly traveled such a long distance in such a short time, he felt a little absurd. The controller was firm. Yes, it must be you. You are the only plane I see on that route. Gunnan and his father still had doubts. They did not want to make any mistakes, as any mistake now would take them far into the Atlantic Ocean. They began to carefully check their coordinates and the physical map on their laps, feeling that something was wrong. He began to wonder if the new controller was not used to radar malfunctions, or if their own equipment was faulty. As the fog gradually lifted, they were shocked to find that they were indeed flying over Miami Beach, and the control operator's statement was accurate. They landed at their destination unexpectedly. Now the question is, how did they fly such a long distance in such a short time? Was it a technical error or some unusual weather pattern that accelerated their flight? Some suspect whether standard aviation instruments and flight routes may sometimes deviate, while others put forward a more disturbing idea. Perhaps certain aspects of air travel have not yet been fully disclosed. At the same time, this incident added another layer of mystery to the Bermuda Triangle. But in reality, the real causes behind the Bermuda Triangle incidents are often natural phenomena or human error. In general, seemingly unexplainable phenomena can actually be explained by environmental factors and the limitations of early navigation technology. The cultural impact of the Bermuda Triangle has been profound, shaping how we perceive the ocean and the unknown. Since the mid-20th century, the Bermuda Triangle has been the subject of countless books, articles, films, and television shows, all of which have helped to fuel the legend. One of the most influential books about the Bermuda Triangle is The Bermuda Triangle by Charles Berlitz, published in 1974. The book became a bestseller, selling over 20 million copies worldwide, and it popularized many of the conspiracy theories and mysterious incidents associated with the region. Berlitz, who was fluent in several languages and had a background in archaeology, claimed that the Bermuda Triangle was a place of supernatural activity, and he linked the disappearances to alien abduction, Atlantis, and other paranormal phenomena. While the book was widely criticized by scientists and researchers for its lack of scientific evidence, it remains one of the most popular books about the Bermuda Triangle. Other writers elaborated on Gatty's ideas, including John Wallace Spencer, Limbo of the Lost, 1969, Repper, 1973, and Richard Weiner, The Devil's Triangle, 1974, with various of these authors incorporating supernatural elements into their accounts. The Bermuda Triangle has also been featured in numerous films and television shows, from documentaries to science fiction movies. One of the most famous films about the Bermuda Triangle is The Bermuda Triangle, 1978, a made-for-television movie that tells the story of a group of people who are stranded in the region after their ship disappears. The movie features many of the classic elements of the Bermuda Triangle legend, including compass malfunctions, strange weather, and supernatural occurrences. Another popular film is Sphere, 1998, based on the novel by Michael Crichton, which is set in the Bermuda Triangle and involves a team of scientists investigating a mysterious alien sphere at the bottom of the ocean. The Bermuda Triangle has also been featured in documentaries, such as the BBC's The Bermuda Triangle, Mystery Solved, and National Geographic's Bermuda Triangle, Into the Unknown, which explore the scientific explanations for the disappearances. The Bermuda Triangle is a popular place for works of fiction to place mysterious events, especially the disappearances of ships and airplanes, sometimes in connection with other stock unsolved mysteries, such as the fate of the crew of the Mary Celeste. Often, it will turn out that something really weird is involved with the area, such as aliens, paranormal activity, eldritch abominations, Atlantis, or something even weirder. If the events are of human origin, it's still something weird like an ancient conspiracy or the work of a dangerous cult. Fleetwood Mac even referenced the Bermuda Triangle in their song Bermuda Triangle, with lyrics that capture the mystery and intrigue of the region. It might be hole down in the ocean, yeah, or a fog that won't let go. It might be some crazy people talking, or somebody that we ought to know. Down in Bermuda, the pale blue sea, way down in the triangle, it's easy to believe. In addition to books and films, the Bermuda Triangle has also had an impact on popular culture in other ways. It has become a common theme in video games, with games such as Assassin's Creed IV, Black Flag, and Minecraft featuring levels or missions set in the region. The Bermuda Triangle has also been referenced in music, with artists such as Jimmy Buffett and Bob Marley mentioning it in their songs. Additionally, the Bermuda Triangle has become a popular tourist destination, with thousands of people visiting the region each year to learn more about the mystery and see the area for themselves. Many tour companies offer boat tour and plane flights over the Bermuda Triangle, allowing tourists to experience the region firsthand. The Bermuda Triangle has also been featured on postage stamps, coins, and other memorabilia, further cementing its place in popular culture as a region that has captured the imagination of people around the world. The Bermuda Triangle has become an iconic part of modern folklore, representing the unknown and the mysterious. Despite its popularity in popular culture, the scientific community remains skeptical of the Bermuda Triangle's supposed mysteries. As mentioned earlier, NOAA and the USCG have conducted extensive investigations and have found no evidence of unusual or supernatural phenomena. In fact, the number of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is no higher than in any other similarly sized and busy region of the ocean. For example, the North Atlantic Ocean is one of the busiest shipping and air corridors in the world, with thousands of ships and planes passing through it every day. It is inevitable that some of these will be lost due to natural causes, human error, or equipment failure. The reason the Bermuda Triangle has gained such a reputation is due to the sensationalism of the media and the public's fascination with the unknown. Many of the incidents associated with the Bermuda Triangle have been exaggerated or misreported, and the lack of conclusive evidence in some cases has allowed conspiracy theories to flourish. Statistically, the number of disappearances in this particular region is no higher or lower than any other part of the ocean of similar size and weather conditions. The myth has persisted, however, due to its popularity in fiction and the public's love of a good mystery. To further understand the Bermuda Triangle, it is important to examine some of the lesser-known incidents that have been linked to the region. One such incident is the disappearance of the schooner Mary Celeste, which is often associated with the Bermuda Triangle, although it actually vanished in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Portugal in 1872. The Mary Celeste was found adrift with no crew on board, but its cargo and personal belongings were still intact. The mystery of the Mary Celeste has never been solved, and it has become one of the most famous unsolved maritime mysteries of all time. While it is not technically in the Bermuda Triangle, it is often included in discussions of the region due to its mysterious nature. Another lesser-known incident is the disappearance of the USS Scorpion, a nuclear submarine that vanished in 1968 with 99 crew members aboard. The Scorpion was en route from the Mediterranean Sea to Norfolk, Virginia, when it disappeared. The wreckage of the Scorpion was found in 1969, lying on the ocean floor at a depth of 3,000 meters, 9,800 feet. The investigation into the incident concluded that the submarine had likely sunk due to a mechanical failure, but the exact cause remains unknown. While the Scorpion's disappearance was not in the Bermuda Triangle, it is often linked to the region in popular media. Another lesser-known incident is the disappearance of the British cargo ship SS Warretta, which vanished in 1909 while en route from Durban, South Africa, to London, England. The Warretta was carrying 211 passengers and crew members, and it was one of the largest ships of its time. The last known communication from the ship was on July 27, 1909, when it sent a message stating that it was experiencing heavy weather. After that, the ship vanished without a trace. No wreckage or bodies were ever found, and the mystery of the Waretta's disappearance remains unsolved. While the Waretta's route did not pass through the Bermuda Triangle, it is often included in discussions of mysterious maritime disappearances and is sometimes linked to the region. Another incident is the disappearance of the French yacht El Atalante, which vanished in 1946 while en route from Martinique to Fort-de-France. The yacht was carrying 11 crew members, and no distress signal was sent. The wreckage of El Atalante was found in 1990, but the cause of its sinking remains unknown. In recent years, advances in technology have allowed researchers to explore the Bermuda Triangle in new ways, shedding light on some of the region's mysteries. For example, sonar technology has been used to map the ocean floor in the Bermuda Triangle, revealing the location of many shipwrecks that were previously unknown. In 2016, researchers used sonar to find the wreckage of the El Faro, which had vanished in 2015, and the investigation into the accident provided valuable insights into the causes of the ship's sinking. Additionally, satellite imagery has been used to monitor the region's weather patterns, helping researchers to better understand how sudden storms and other natural phenomena can contribute to disappearances. GPS technology has also made navigation safer, reducing the number of navigational errors that can lead to accidents. AI and machine learning are also being used to analyze data from the Bermuda Triangle, helping researchers to identify patterns and trends in the disappearances. For example, researchers are using AI to analyze historical data on ship and plane disappearances, looking for correlations between the incidents and natural factors such as weather, ocean currents, and magnetic anomalies. Despite these advances, there are still many unanswered questions about the Bermuda Triangle. For example, why have some ships and planes vanished without leaving any trace? Why do compass malfunctions occur more frequently in the region? And what is the true cause of the hexagonal clouds and rogue waves that are found in the area? These questions continue to drive research, and new discoveries are constantly shedding light on the region's mysteries. However, it is likely that some of these questions will never be fully answered, as the ocean is a vast and unforgiving place, and many of the incidents occurred decades ago, leaving little evidence to investigate. The lack of conclusive evidence is part of what makes the Bermuda Triangle so fascinating, as it allows for speculation and imagination, keeping the legend alive. One of the key points to remember about the Bermuda Triangle is that it is not a unique or dangerous region, at least not in the way that popular culture portrays it. The number of disappearances in the region is no higher than in any other similarly sized and busy part of the ocean, and most of the incidents can be explained by natural causes, human error, or equipment failure. Reason the Bermuda Triangle has gained such a reputation is due to the sensationalism of the media and the public's fascination with the unknown. People are drawn to mysteries, and the Bermuda Triangle offers a perfect combination of unexplained events, natural phenomena, and conspiracy theories that capture the imagination. It is a reminder of how little we know about the ocean, which covers over 70% of the Earth's surface and is home to countless mysteries that have yet to be solved. The ocean is a vast and mysterious place, and even with modern technology, there is still much we do not understand. The Bermuda Triangle is a symbol of this mystery, representing the unknown and the unexplained. Another important point is that the Bermuda Triangle has had a significant impact on maritime and aviation safety. While the region is not more dangerous than any other, the attention it has received has led to improvements in navigation technology and safety procedures. For example, the development of GPS has made navigation more accurate, reducing the number of navigational errors that can lead to accidents. Additionally, weather monitoring systems have been improved, allowing ships and planes to avoid sudden storms and other dangerous weather conditions. The lessons learned from the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle have helped to make maritime and aviation travel safer for everyone. The USCG and NOAA have used the incidents in the Bermuda Triangle to raise awareness about the importance of proper navigation, equipment maintenance, and weather safety, helping to prevent future accidents. Conclusion: the Bermuda Triangle is a region that has captivated the human imagination for centuries. It is a place where fact and fiction blur, and where natural phenomena and human error have combined to create a legend of mysterious disappearances. While the scientific community has provided plausible explanations for most of the incidents associated with the region, the mystery remains, fueled by the lack of conclusive evidence in some cases, and the public's fascination with the unknown. The Bermuda Triangle is not a place of supernatural danger, but rather a reminder of the vastness and power of the ocean, and of how little we know about the world around us. From the USS Cyclops to Flight 19, the incidents associated with the Bermuda Triangle have become part of modern folklore, and they will continue to fascinate and intrigue us for centuries to come. Whether we are scientists studying the region's natural phenomena, writers crafting stories about its mysteries, or tourists visiting to see it for ourselves, the Bermuda Triangle will always hold a special place in our collective imagination. It is a symbol of the unknown, a testament to the power of nature, and a reminder that even in the age of technology, there are still mysteries waiting to be solved. To delve deeper into the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle, it is important to consider the role of perception and sensationalism in shaping the legend. Many of the incidents associated with the region have been exaggerated or misreported, with details added or omitted to make the story more dramatic. For example, some reports of the USS Cyclops' disappearance claim that the ship was swallowed by the ocean or abducted by aliens, even though there is no evidence to support these claims. Similarly, the disappearance of Flight 19 has been romanticized in popular culture, with the pilots portrayed as brave men who vanished into the unknown, rather than as experienced professionals who likely made a navigational error. This sensationalism has helped to fuel the legend of the Bermuda Triangle, making it more appealing to the public. The media has played a significant role in this, as newspapers, magazines, and television shows often focus on the most mysterious aspects of the incidents, ignoring the more mundane explanations.